Hello and welcome, I'm Raziel, and with Mantic talking about the Twilight Kin and how they came about and all their spookiness and their really cool models. Let's look at the other side of that box, the Raging Voids. But if you can't sit down, it's the Raging Voids. But of course, it's the other side of the box, and it is the Abyssal Dwarfs. And they are such a cool looking army. I think they are fantastic looking, and I swear to gosh that they are one of the best looking armies I've seen in a long time. And if you're going into Warhammer the Old World and you want to do Chaos Dwarfs, definitely a great proxy army for you. Well, especially as you can't use Chaos Dwarfs in Warhammer for the Old World officially because they are a PDF army and they will be a side army and probably not going to get anything. Now, the Abyssal Dwarves are, of course, a evil army, which means this box we're getting will be an evil box. And they have some So, they're an evil army, they're the evil side to the Dwarves. And so, who are they, and what are they? They're from the distant lands of the north, the lost kin of King Golok's folk. And what they do is they plot and they scheme within their firelit halls. Twisted beyond recognition, the Abyssal Dwarves are driven by thirst for power and wealth that surpasses mortal concepts of desire, and by these lusts, they plan a campaign for world domination. They want to rule the world like everyone else, like Tears for Fears would tell you. Everyone wants to rule worlds, and so do the Abyssal Dwarves. Now, the Abyssal Dwarves, of course, are a breed unto themselves, every bit a strong, squat, and hardy as their southern counterparts, so they're nice goody-goody two-shoed brothers. They're just as strong as those guys, and, but they're more, ugly and quite pale in their features. Their bodies are usually twisted and, a bit of a bad temper, which is considered quite vicious at times. Now they have flinty, intelligent eyes, and of their cousins have been replaced by, the flinty, intelligent eyes of their cousins. So the good guys have nice, intelligent eyes, and they're so lovely and kind. The Abyssal Dwarfs do not. They have dark eyes. They are dark, horrible little gimlets, and they stare at the world because they're angry. It's like just angry and staring at the world. So there you go. That's what they do. They are more fatter than their brothers and their cousins, which are, the good dwarves, because they like to overindulge a little bit in certain things. So they like to overindulge, so they tend to put on a bit more podge. And then they're, more conservative kin. Anyway, despite this, the Abyssal Dwarves have lost none of their strength. So like I said, they're still as strong, and they are fingers, and they're still good worksmen because they're very dexterous with their very fat fingers, little sausage fingers, which are very dexterous, and they have fine motor skills, which is weird because they have fat fingers. So they're very good at their metal working. They're quite the Meturgalists of the Panaphorian factions. And Abyssal Dwarf are basically, they're just very greedy, and they're covetous. They want more gold and wealth than the world will ever give them, and they're all power, and they're just that's what they want. And they know that they can never feel this, but they continued with their unrestrained avarice, makes them more ostentatious than, they like to show off how posh and rich they are, unlike their counterparts again, who are more refined and more refined with their decorations. And, they just like throw elaborate armor and jewels and really shove it in their face how rich and posh they are. The dwarves of Panafor have long battled with their gold lust. Yeah, so all the other goody dwarves are like, I love gold so much, but I can't have it, so I must not tempt myself. And the Abyssal Dwarves are not like that. They're like, I like gold and I'm going to eat it and shove it up my nose. So they just don't care anymore. And it is a curse that was unleashed upon these ancient people, the ancient dwarfs, during the God of War by the Father of Lies. Now, when the good people of the world forged together to face the dark gods, the dwarves were there, as implacable, as stalwart as they are today. But the Father of Lies, the great and powerful among his dark kin, espied the potential for corruption within the dwarven hearts, because they are so stout and very, they will not give in to temptation, made him a big gold target for the bad guys. like always. And that was their love of all things precious could be twisted, and the dark ones twist every beautiful thing. I mean, they're twisting dwarves, so beauty on Pinafore is probably a low bar, to be honest with you. They got Night Stalkers, which are not that pretty. So yeah, I would say beauty's pretty low bar on Pinafore. Anyway, to this end, the Father of Lies planted a very seed within the dwarves that could tip the love of gold into a secret, burning need, the urge to collect personal riches above all considerations. If a dwarf succumbs to these urges, they lose all control, and they will covet each other's wealth. They will basically rob everyone, including their next door neighbour, and they'll steal their cat. And they'll take everything, any way they can. And the most unspeakable act known to dwarves is murder, which is the worst thing that someone can do. And a worst thing a dwarf can do to another dwarf on Pinafore is to kill another dwarf, especially for gold. It is so bad they don't like it. The longer a dwarf spends in close proximity to the abyss, the more twisted they become. It is a small blessing for the wider world that the abyssal dwarves are slow to reproduce. Yes, I think with everyone having a beard, it might be quite difficult to understand which one's a boy and which one's a girl. So we're like, oh, you're a boy or girl? And they have to lift the beard up. It's quite tedious and quite long-winded. So they probably just go, turn around, bend over, and just hope for the best that there's 2 holes there. So, indeed, many scholars believe that the proximity to the abyss means the abyssal dwarves cannot be born naturally at all. So, even though it might be hard to reproduce, it's probably because they cannot actually reproduce at all, and they have to use magic and funny things to continue. So yes, now we do not know if they can actually reproduce naturally at all because of their proximity to the abyss. But, anyway, their ranks are swelled by the corruption of the renegade dwarves migrating to Tragar from the southern hold. Most believe that the abyssal dwarves are so imbued by demonic magic, they are effectively immortal, cursed to face an eternity of treachery and wickedness. Because that's always a fun part of being possessed by demons, not the spewing of green soup and having your head look around and seeing everyone. Because you know, the owl impression gets boring after a while. Now Tragar, the fate of the northern dwarves, who had established mining communities around the abyss, went undiscovered for centuries, drawn there by the promise of riches because they were greedy. These once noble-hearted creatures were twisted by the dark whisper of the Father of Lies. Now, the hellish industries surround the abyss. Mines and settlements cling to the precipice above the vast, smoking chasm. Now they have twin temple cities, and these are loom large at either end. They are the Zarak and the Dew. The ancient dwarf wars of power and pain. I would assume Zarak meant power. The towering and sentinel mountains are almost maddening in their scale, wood of stone and iron and brass, and adorned with leering blasphemous carvings. Anyway, so they're constantly expanding as the abyssal dwarves increase their domain, because, you know, they want to rule the world. So they're going to just expand out like their bellies and keep getting fatter. And so we go. Now surrounding the twin cities, almost dwarfed by them, are mountains and foothills. These are homes to orcs, which are obviously the greenskins, giants and trolls. Atop the high spires, dragon spawn swoop, soar, and thermals are rising from the abyss, while mutated basilisks sliver in the lava rivers, a cascade from the city's vast forges and lower reaches of the hell pit below. Now, the abyssal dwarves have a name for this kingdom. It is called Tragar, and they are kind of scared of it. It is dangerous to them, and is built upon slavery, treachery, where a knife in the dark is every bit commonplace as open war. Anyway, so that is basically a nice little roundup of the abyssal dwarves, which are on the other side of the box of the Raging Voids box for Mantic, which is coming out soon. It looks fantastic, gotta admit. And honestly, if you're looking to get into Mantic, check the link down to Railing Games down below, because they have a nice selection of starter boxes there, and they're all pretty good. Especially if you're looking to get into Kings of War, so you check them out. I have like a 20% off, and £20 after £20 is your order is free delivery. There is Forbidden Planet as well, which is really cool. Very like comics. And of course there is my comics, my merchandise, as always, and Patreon. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all again later. And don't forget, please, if you're going to support the channel, go to one of the links where you can actually buy yourself something, treat yourself to something nice. It supports the channel as much as you go to Patreon. And honestly, I'd rather it be that way because, you know, we both benefit that way. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a great day. And I'm sorry about the echoey second half. I got kicked out of my recording room. Bye-bye.